Today we're looking at how to polish a knife blade. What we have here is a Kershaw Clash. Half of the blade has been polished. The other half is still the standard bead blast that comes on a lot of these Kershaw knives. And I know there's a lot of different ways that you can polish a knife blade. Probably some a little bit more efficient than the way I'm going to explain here, but this is the way I did it. Okay. I started with 400 grit sandpaper, and all of this is wet sandpaper, or wet sand sanding. It's not dry. I know some people say it's better to dry sand it because you get more grit, but I did all of this wet sand. So started with 400, then moved up to 800, then moved up to 2000. And the trick when doing this is do the 400 for a long time. Make sure you get all of the bead blast off, as much of the grind marks as possible. Because you understand when they make the shape of the blade here, from this line down is all grinded. So you really need to sand quite a bit to get those grind marks out of there. Otherwise what you're going to end up with is a nice shiny blade, but it's still going to show the grind marks. So you're going to have a lot of grind marks going here, and you're not going to have that real mirror finish that you may be looking for. Because that's the mistake I made the first time I polished this one, is I didn't sand with the 400 long enough, and I just moved through very quickly, and I was like, wow, this is easy to do. And at the end I ended up with a very nice shiny knife, but it wasn't a mirror finish. It still had grind marks going down here, and the top section here still had some of the bead blast left over. It still had the Kershaw laser engraving or laser etching also the first time I did it, but this time it's all gone. What I did was I went back to the 400 and kind of like started over. Sanded it really good with the 400 till there was no grind marks left in this area here. There's no grind marks left, and then moved on. So it should have only been 400 grain scratches in this area. No grind marks going down this way. When you're doing it, it is always best to go the length of the blade this way. There's no real purpose of going like this. Okay, so did 400, 800, 2000, and then I moved on to some turtle wax chrome polish. And again, too, there's a lot of different ways you could do this. You could do it, probably the most efficient or most effective would be with a bench grinder or bench buffer, using the buffing wheel and using buffing compound. But I don't have a grinding wheel. I do have a Dremel, but I didn't fire up the Dremel for this. I did this by hand. So what I did is, after the 2000, it was already pretty shiny. Nice finish on it. But to get that real mirror finish I was looking for, I went with this is your basic turtle wax chrome polish, the kind you would use on your wheels. If you have chrome wheels, kind you can find at Walmart in the automotive section. So not hard to find, not expensive either. I did that with an old towel. And the finished product looks beautiful. Just beautiful. I was going to send some items away to get them polished. This would have been one of them. But, I mean, this really, the results I got just by doing this by hand are just great. And right now I only did one side of the blade. The other side is still the bead blast, so is the spine, as well as the finger flipper. I only did that top region of the blade. I did disassemble it so I wouldn't mess up the top of the handle when sanding, but I did only do this side of it so far. To redo this took me about half an hour just to do the one side. So I would say if you're going to do the whole blade, probably take you somewhere around hour, hour and a half, depending on how quickly you sand and how much you do other things like answer the phone while you're doing the project. Results came out just beautiful. The polish on that is just immaculate. If I had sent it away and got it back in this condition, I'd be very pleased. So when I finish this up, I'm actually gonna, again, take it apart and I'll polish down here so I can get it down where the flipper is, the spine, as well as this entire side of the blade where it's still the bead blast. And this knife has been used a bit. When I started the project on the other side, it did have some scratch marks already, so that was part of the motivation to do this. I did also see a video on YouTube. Someone named Peeps did this polish on a Kershaw Cyclone. That was actually a motivation of mine to do this. I really liked how that one came out. I couldn't get my hands on a Kershaw Cyclone, so I decided to just grab one of my knives and do it. I know when he did it, he actually customized his handle also. The Cyclone has a aluminum handle, so he was able to polish the handle as well. He didn't do a mirror polish, but he polished off the black coating, which looked really nice. This handle ended up getting Duracoated. It comes from Kershaw standard black. Just that finish is just great. Beautiful mirror finish.